with the keys, it's like, boom, boom, boom. You know, it's easier.
Beautiful people. Well, this is Studio Visitor, the podcast where we talk about gear philosophy and history and European music studios. And this is kind of a European episode. Next to me is Pedro Viñuela. And the funny story is, we were supposed to meet in Madrid.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, you moved to Berlin.
Yeah, we have this opportunity to build a studio here in Berlin. You know, we thought that it could be great for my family. So, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, why not? How did your career start?
Well, you know, I think this is, you know, the same old story for a lot of engineers. I was working as a musician, you know, recording here, there with my bands, and at some point I thought that you know it was like I want to be behind the the glass with the controls. I want to make the magic of a recording, not only as a musician or as an artist. So I was you know starting to work in as assistants in different studios in Seville, mainly. And, you know, then I moved to a theme park, and I was the sound guy for all the hotels and all the stuff in there. And in the meantime, I was doing a lot of recording and mixing, mostly. You know, with time, when I moved to Madrid, I was I was studying in SI, how you say? SAI. We say
SAE.
Yeah, we say SAI in Spain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was studying there because I was a paper, a document about my career to go to Galaxy Studios in Belgium, but you know
they're bankrupt.
Yeah, but when I finished my studies there, my friend in Galaxy, he was no more there, so you know I lose my opportunity to work in Galaxy. So yeah, what else? I built my first studio in Madrid around 2008, something like that. Mainly for mastering, you know, stereo mastering.
Stereo mastering.
Yeah.
You did a lot of work in Spain. I remember you told me once a story. You were doing in the box, out the box.
Yeah, I was, you know, at the first. When I started to work, everything was obviously out the box. I'm talking about. Around 96 or something like that when I started to work.
It's all analog.
Yeah, all analog. You know, we have these Sony digital tapes.
U-matic.
Yeah, no, U-matic. You know,
DAT.
Yeah, the DAT, the dash, the open wheels, but digital. Yeah, with I don't know 48 tracks in digital from Sony.
Wow.
Yeah, but they didn't sound really great.
No.
Not at all.
At that time, converters were still like sound like shit.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I'm coming from that background. So my first mastering studio in Madrid was full analog with tape, with a lot of gear, you know, Maselec, Manley, the usual stuff. But with the time, I have this thing with the conversion. I didn't find a proper way to convert things without processing and sounds the same. It's, you know, everything has a sound. So I try to make things in digital.
But?
You know, at some point, it starts to work, you know. But it took a lot of time, you know. But when I started to work in all purely digital. I did this test. I was sending to my clients A and B masters with the same settings, but one was analog and one was digital. And you know, a lot of people, I think, everyone choose always the digital stuff. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think because when you are, you know, it really depends of your clients. When you have a client that is missing a record for, I don't know, 1 month or whatever, they are putting all the color or the harmonic distortion, everything they are putting there in their way. So if they send to me these mixes and then I change that sound, that it's hard to sometimes it's hard to get, and I put I don't know, a Manley massive passive or whatever and change that color.
Yeah.
It's not what they are expecting from me. They are expecting a better sound, not a change in sound. So with digital, I can retain this sound and I can improve it. This is the whole point for me. So you have these clients and you have another clients that more maybe amateur, if you want, no professional people that need or want this color, this tone, this analog stuff. So yeah, I keep some analog gear, especially for these guys, because, sometimes it's really cold mixes or analog still wins in in certain works. So for me, my main, my main workflow is digital, but when I need to how you say, to add anything, I prefer to use actual real gear.
Yeah.
For that, and it's funnier.
Yeah, it's funnier.
Yeah.
Then switching the knobs is.
Yeah. You feel like a boss.
Yeah. Driving a car.
Totally.
But in your rack, there is from the Rupert Neve Portico series, the Masterbus processor. But you told me it's the third unit you own.
Yeah. I have, this is the third one. So I have this relationship. It's love hate with the unit. It's for me. I know a lot of people use this theme for a lot of different sounds. For me, it's one trick pony. If I need this kind of American sound with the Transformers, these things always win.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything really. You don't have even to compress. You put the seal rec thing, and a little bit of the stereo field editor. It's really it's an NS equalizer. With this, you can you can go there to this sound. So for me, it's it's easier and more practical. This is why sometimes I sold the unit, sometimes I bought the unit, because it's one trick pony really.
Yeah. In the past, you had Dutch and Dutch speakers.
Yeah.
But you switched to keys. How's that working for you?
Yeah. I love the 8Cs, the Dutch and Dutch. I love them. I think it's it's an amazing system. But I have the opportunity to get the keys with the VXTs, and
with the bass extension.
It's better. It's you have this effortless sound, especially with the dynamics. You have all these microdynamics in front of you, and for me, it's really simple. With the keys, I need less time to do the same that with other speakers. So for me, it's
Is that really
it's easy.
the biggest difference for you between the Dutch and Dutch, the ATC?
Yeah, it's for a lot of time with the Dutch and Dutch, I was like, okay, this is great, this is sounding great, blah 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 blah. Trying things, putting all together, and you have your master. But with the keys, it's like, boom, boom, boom. you know, it's easier, it's faster, they are really clean, they are really powerful. They are. You don't have this kind of stress sound in the low mids.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me it's a win-win.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But you're not only mastering for stereo, but also for Atmos. You got a 7.1.4 setup.
Yeah.
You're going on with PSI speakers.
Yeah.
As far as I know, PSI is the only brand that has fully analog speakers.
Yeah.
In this kind of grade.
Yeah, in this size you want. Yeah. For me, it's you know, I know the dealer in Spain from PSI Audio, and I get a proper and a good deal there for all the systems. So. You know, for me it was like, oh, I think I don't have the money for a full Atmos setup from PSI, but yeah, we were talking about it, and I have a good deal. So yeah, I love them. I love them
too.
Yeah.
Mastering into Atmos is not done analog.
Well, not really, because you don't have, you know, in the stereo you have a L and R, you know, the stereo signal, 2 channels. But in Atmos we have 128 objects. So if you want to equalize or compress everything in the same way we do in stereo, you have to put a single compressor or a single equalizer or whatever in every object. So it's difficult.
Because in Atmos you're not talking about channels, but you're talking about objects.
Yeah, exactly. You have channels too. You have channels.
Sure.
We say bed. The bed.
Yeah.
The bed is like your bus. Your channels go to the bed, but we usually use the objects. The objects mean that you have an audio signal, and you have all the pan data around this signal.
Yeah.
So you are not really sending the audio to a channel, to a bus or whatever. You are using the data to send the object in a 3D space.
Yeah.
So this is the whole point of Atmos, and it's great.
It's
when
all in the
works.
metadata.
Yeah, all the metadata. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that because we don't have buses to compress, to harmonic distortion or whatever, it's really difficult to get the sound you have in stereo in Atmos. So a lot of times the companies, the labels, release the stereo first and then the Atmos. So we have to match the Atmos mix to the stereo sound.
How difficult is that?
It's really difficult, because a lot of time they don't send the stems through the buses or through the mastering. This is not happening, obviously.
Message to all of you: send stems when you do Atmos mastering.
Yeah, it's stems, and you have to keep in mind that if your mix is depending of the groups or subgroups or buses or whatever, we need this sound.
Yeah.
Because it's really difficult, and it's you know, it's hard to match, I don't know, a drum group, for example, or electric guitars or vocal or whatever, if you have a lot of processing in your buses. So this is the most complicated thing right now in Atmos.
Besides matching the difficulty of matching stereo to Atmos, what is the most difficult thing of mastering in Atmos?
Well, the most difficult thing in mastering, not mixing in Atmos, is when you have an Atmos mix done with headphones. Because, yeah. Atmos is, you know, you can play an Atmos mix in headphones, but this is not Atmos.
No.
This is binaural, and this is really different.
To me, Atmos is all about speaker placement and where you define the sound will be in the space.
Exactly. So you can represent that in headphones or even in mono, in stereo or wherever. You can mix down, fold down everything to whatever format you want. But when you are mixing, you have to, you have to keep an eye always in the phase relationship in the space.
Yeah.
And this is very important because with the headphones, you are not really listening these kind of issues. So sometimes I get a lot of mixes from people doing this with headphones, and when you put in the speakers, it's a mess around the face. So, this is the more difficult thing, because when you have a lot of phase problems, you have to move things, you have to re-equalize, and you are losing a little bit of what the original mixer did in the mix. So, yeah.
That's the most difficult part, but what is the most fun part?
Oh, panning thing.
Panning?
Yeah, panning.
Moving it all around?
Yeah. When you have, you can... when you can see what the mixer or the artist want, and you think, okay, I can do this better because I have the ear.
I have the space.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, for example, you have something that is coming from the ceiling to the floor, noise or whatever. You are seeing that, but it's not really good enough, and you can do it better. This is the most pleasure thing in the Atmos.
I remember doing at that time what was 5.1 surround. I remember doing my first mix at 5.1. Trains. My ex-wife was like, "There's a train coming through the window."
Yeah.
It really went from the back to forth. And it was really fun to do. So I can imagine with Atmos is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but we are a little bit how you say limited, because in music you really don't want this kind of craziness. You don't want a solo guitar in the ceiling moving around. So, as I say, the Atmos thing, you have two ways of doing it. You can do a big stereo thing. You can instead of electric guitars in your front speakers, you can put a little bit
to the sides.
Yeah, to the side. So it's like a more surround you.
It's becoming more immersive.
Exactly, and you can do with the drums. You can expand the sounds a little bit for every speaker, so it's really big and really heavy drums. Blah blah blah. You can do. It's like a stereo with steroids. Big stereo. Or you can do something creative.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It depends on the client. When I work with major labels, they want the stereo version in Atmos. They don't want something creative. But with clients that they are the artist or the producer, we can do a lot of things. And this is the most fun part of the work, to make things moving around you a little bit, to expand the feel, the 3D feel you have.
Yeah.
Because you are not anymore with two speakers. You have a lot of speakers, but you have a room. So this is the whole point. You have a room. You have to forget about the speakers. You have sounds around you, the objects. So yeah, this is the most.
The only thing I'm always wondering, we're listening on highly detailed systems like Key, PSI, with a great setup, but what is left behind for the consumer when they listen?
Well, this is like a stereo. It's the same thing.
Because spatial audio, as Apple calls it, on my AirPods Pro, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't impress me. I'm sorry.
Totally, I hate what Apple did to what we are doing in the mixing in Atmos or mastering in Atmos. They ignore all the metadata we use to the binaural, and they make something, I don't know how or why. And, this month is sounding this way, and the next month is sounding different. So, we can work with that, really. So, for me, it's more about doing the sound of the song great in the speakers, because this is what will be in the future the future proof you want. So, yeah, it's not really about headphones, about earbuds, about special audio or binaural. It's more about how it feels, the music and the artistic vision in the speakers for me.
Yeah. Talking about digital audio, throughout the years since you started your first studio and now, it's like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
A lot has changed.
Yeah.
What we're going to talk about the good, the bad. What is the most positive change for you in all this time?
Okay, for me it's time consuming. It's for me it's faster to work as we work right now.
Instant recall.
Yeah, recall, no tapes. Rewind tapes, changing tapes, calibrating, aligning tapes. It's a waste of time. Right now you can receive a mix, you can work on it, and you can send back. And in a few hours you have approved or not your work. So if it's not approved, you can still work on it.
Yeah.
And it's fast, and it's sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but I like these things.
The perception of time, distance, file size.
Yeah. Everything is in your server.
Yeah.
You have your server. You have the mix, the reference. You have the master. You have someone in the label that is, okay, this is a good master. Oh no, I want to change that, or blah blah blah. And in one day we can put together all these changes and make a great record and make happy a lot of people just in one day.
That is the win-win, the positive thing. But what is the bad thing? The most negative development in all these years?
Computers, man. Computers. Yeah, and
Really?
internet. Yeah, I hate computers, man.
I remember it's the episode with Mika. He is from Finland, Oulu. He uses his computer, Pro Tools, just as a tape machine. The only plugin he uses is Autotune.
Well, computers, they are supposed to work, but in Windows you have these meshes a lot of times. I need to get to the server to update. I don't know what. Blah 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 blah. It's you are losing a lot of time.
Never-ending story.
Yeah, and right now I think computers are more stable, and especially the operating systems. But if you try to open an old project, it's a pain in the ass.
Probably is because of plugins has changed.
Yeah, and the dates. It's all about the dates. For a lot of times in my job, I have to open old projects. So sometimes it's why, man? Why? I just want to open, to work, and yeah. But
we're talking about digital audio. We went from vinyl to CD to streaming. In all this era you experienced, is loudness more still going on, or is it over? Or
no, man. Everyone still wants the music that louder.
Yeah, we measure in a different scale. We measure in loves now.
It's the same, Yeah.
It's only louder.
When you give them something that is with dynamics and it's okay, and that it will sound great in Spotify, Tidal, or Apple Music or whatever, they listen in the studio, they compare to another records, and always they say, oh, can you turn up a little bit the volume, 1, 2, 3 dBs? And it's like, it sounds great like that. Why you want that? But you know, a lot of people fears about the playlist thing. You know.
Yeah, that really is a big thing these days. Pop charts don't matter anymore.
Well,
A
you
little
know,
bit,
yeah.
but I mean, they don't matter that much anymore as they used to be.
Yeah.
But playlists, they matter.
Yeah, totally. We have, you know, in mastering we have different ways to do things. Last week, for example, a client say, okay, I have this master I did, and I have your master, and your master is, I can't remember the number, but I don't know, -9 loops, and mine is -6, and yours is sounding louder than mine.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is
It's
that?
all about how we equalize, how we you know, we imprint a little bit of harmonic distortion, these kind of things. You know, it's control.
It's all about control, because you know where to duck some frequencies that make the other frequencies louder.
If you have a song, and you have in this song you have different sessions. You have I don't know, an intro and one verse, and pre-chorus, chorus, second verse, whatever. Each of these parts has their own volume, so we can, you know, we can change a little bit the difference in these sessions to get a loud number in loops in the, you know.
2 dBs here, 2 dBs off.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So when you upload the music to Tidal or Spotify or whatever, they think that your music is lower than other music, so they don't penalize.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, we have ways to do things in mastering.
You're talking about a lot of interesting theory, but theory is really your thing, because you're also teaching.
Yeah.
Well, can you explain what you actually teach?
Well, I have, you know, a lot of time teaching. Because of my background, I teach a lot of things around maths, physics, acoustics, digital audio, analog audio too. But right now, here in Berlin, what we are doing is we have a platform. It's called the Audio Sessions, and we do step-by-step mixes. You know, explaining every step and every topic around the mix. You know, we have a mix. We start and okay, we have this kick and this bass, and we have to do this here, that there, because we want, I don't know, whatever.
Achieve this.
So yeah, it's a step-by-step thing.
Traditional stereo mixing you're teaching, or Atmos?
Whatever. Sometimes it's Atmos, sometimes it's stereo, sometimes it's mastering. Sometimes I, you know, I do classes about home studio acoustics for people in their home studio. So yeah, you have a lot of ways to do the thing we do in the professional thing, but with less money. It's you know, it's not always it's the same, but you can get it close to the professional studio if you know certain things. So,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's not that difficult if you understand what you're doing.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Talking about your courses, is there one little secret trick you can reveal that you like to share with the viewers?
I do most mastering, but for mixing, for me, it's all around, the vocal. But the vocal in relationship, and here is the secret, with the bass.
With the bass,
With
okay.
the bass. Because you have the melody, that is the lead vocal. You have, accents and dynamics and articulation, that's the drums. But what you have in common in these two words is the bass. The bass is supporting all the harmonics, all the,
Really is the fundamental control.
yeah. And at the same time, the bass is supporting the articulation of the dynamics of the song. So for me, it has to work vocals, bass, and drums.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah.
So if you get those three right, drums, bass, vocals, then you mix in the rest.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's like Christmas lights. You know, yeah. You have your vocals; they're perfect. Okay, the bass is complementing the vocal and this kind of articulation in the drums, and you have the drums that is the accent, the power, the articulation really. So when you have this three-dimensional contour in the dynamics of the song, including these three things, you have almost everything done.
Out of all the time you're busy with music and doing studio mastering, mixing, what has been the most rewarded project or most memorable moment for you in your career?
The best moment for me was not so much time ago. I realized that it's not what you touch, in frequency in the spectrum, it's what you don't. For me, it was revealing. It was like, okay, I think I get it. Okay.
After all these years, finally you got the trick.
Because it's a change in your mind. It's a change of how you think about music. When you realize that it's just, I don't know, half a dB, and it's changing everything.
It can change.
It's like, oh man, this is it.
Talking about the most memorable thing, what was the biggest struggle in all these years?
Oh. When you send the wrong version of the master, maybe you have three versions and you send number one 3 times. I don't know. Sometimes it happens. And I was teaching a long time ago, and I was like, you can listen this compression, yeah, okay. Listen. I was changing, the knobs and blah 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 blah. And one guy realized that it was in bypass. So it was like, oh man, I'm deaf,
It's fine.
Yeah, this was embarrassing, yeah. But it happened. So yeah.
Before we go to the closing thoughts, I got one question for you, and I do this in every mastering studio.
Okay.
Can you master my beat?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Let's keep it up. I want to thank you for the conversation.
No, thank you.
I want to thank you for being here, receiving me. If there's any message you'd like to spread, what do you want to say?
I think there is one thing a lot of people don't talk too much. It's about the money and the business. So the last thing I want to say is that you have to keep in mind that this is a business. So don't go crazy buying a lot of stuff. We can do a really, really good work just with plugins. That is, they're cheaper than hardware. And for me, if you are starting a business for mastering or mixing or whatever, keep in mind that you have to make money for living. So yeah, it's not always to have all the gear, all the speakers, all the blah blah blah. It's about working hard every day, and don't do things for free. I think.
Well, you can do sometimes for free.
You know, you can do it sometimes, but
But that's a gift for
yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of people just do things free. As you know, I am starting, so I don't charge money for that. No. You have to do it. You have to do it. You can make a gift, whatever you want, whoever you want. But it's important to keep in mind that this is a business.
It is. Totally
We
is.
need to you know, to get money. So,
Need to
and
be-
this is something a lot of people, you know, don't talk about it. So yeah.
Yeah, we know. We all know. They think you're the managing director of the energy company, and that rent is for free, and this really is the problem.
Yeah,
But you can help me.
You can help. You know, we are here for helping people too. So there is no problem to do these things for free from time to time. But this is one thing, and another thing is to make a career based on free stuff.
Yeah,
This
no,
is not going
no.
anywhere.
No.
And this is experience.
That's a great conclusion. It's all about experience,
Yeah.
because that is what your career is about. I was happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming here.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and perhaps drop a comment down below. I say until we meet again. Goodbye.
See you. Bye.